In our first story, President Akufo-Addo says his administration has revived the National Health Insurance Scheme, which was saddled with debt under the erstwhile John Mahama-led administration. He says government has so far cleared 1 billion Ghana cedis out of the 1.2 billion Ghana cedi debt inherited from the NDC government. The president was speaking at an African summit at the London School of Economics on the theme Africa at Work, Educated, Employed and Empowered.
We're reviving the strength of our National Health Insurance Scheme, which under the previous government was being strangled by debt. Of the 1.2 billion cedi debt we inherited, the equivalent of some $300 million, we're paid in the last 15 months 1 billion cedis, the equivalent of $250 million. And payments to service providers are now current. The scheme is regaining its effectiveness so that for a minimum amount, subscribers can have access to a wide range of medical services. We have done enough talking, and dare I say we have had enough conferences and workshops. We know what we need to do. It is time just to do it. Our success story and change narrative come with building our economies that are not dependent on charity and handouts. Then we shall put an educated, employed, and empowered Africa to work and repudiate the recent culture of failure. We then shall take our rightful place in the world.
Well, President Akufo-Addo also stated that Ghana and other African countries should not rely on donor agencies to know the areas of education they should prioritize.
Education for our young people should not become an ideological tussle. We should never have to make a choice between basic education or higher education. We should never have to rely on the World Bank or any other institution to decide for us where the emphasis should be in our education needs. Education is the key to our development, and we must run our economies to be able to fund the education of our children. We should not get into arguments with donor agencies about our priorities. Despite the bleak economic situation my government inherited, we decided to implement immediately the pledge we had made about providing free senior high school education. The most dramatic aspect of its implementation has been that 90,000 more students entered senior high school in September last year, the first term of the policy, than in 2016 and in the years before.
Well, we have to come down to Ghana, and city authorities in Kumasi, they say they've begun strict enforcement of sanitation bylaws, all in an effort to eliminate indiscriminate littering of the streets. Metropolitan Chief Executive Osei Asibentri says the era of verbal warning and caution of offenders was over. He was speaking at the launch of a sanitation and anti-corruption campaign by the Catholic Bishops' Conference in Kumasi. It's where Ohim Interior reports from.
Kumasi City generates 1,500 tons of solid waste daily. The Central Business District alone accounts for 250 tons, 60% of it thrown around, according to a study by the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Mr. Asibentri says efforts to restore Kumasi to its glorious past will not be compromised.
We arrested 11, and the 11, we sent them to court, and each of them had 1 month imprisonment. And the punishment was that in the morning, the environmental officers will go for them, and they will be taken out to go and sweep. Initially, all those about 70 that were arrested initially were just caution, but now we have moved away from the caution.
The Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly recently launched a litter-free environmental campaign. Negative attitude of residents is said to be hampering the fight against filth. Mr. Asibentri is worried the worst culprits of street littering in Kumasi are literate. He wants a change in attitude. Meanwhile, The College Church is pledging support to government's effort to protect the environment. It seeks to identify effective strategies to address corruption, poor sanitation and abuse of the environment. It will also engage and support local authorities in accountability and development initiatives, while encouraging its members to actively take part in such activities at all levels. Reverend Father Clement Kwesia J. is Director of Governance, Justice and Peace Directorate of the Church.
This program will focus on corruption, sanitation, and the environment, and will mobilize the clergy, the lay faithful, and other key stakeholders in the fight against these ills in our society. From
Kumasi for JoyNews, I'm Interior reporting.
The Amir, missionary in charge of the Ahmadiyya Muslim mission, Maulvi Mohammed Nur bin Saleh, is outraged by suggestions from the Minister for Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng, that Muslims and their leaders should consider using text messages or WhatsApp just to invite worshippers to prayers instead of the traditional megaphones used. Professor Frimpong Boateng noted that if this was also adopted, it will go a long way to help reduce noise pollution. Addressing Ahmadi worshippers at the 56th Annual Zonal Conference or JALTA of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission in Wa, Maulvi bin Saleh lashed out at the heart surgeon turned politician, indicating his suggestion smacks of intolerance. Rafiq Salam has the rest of the story.
The annual conference was attended by worshippers of the Ahmadiyya faith from all circles in the Upper West region and beyond. Amir, a missionary in charge of the Ahmadiyya Muslim mission in Ghana, Maulvi Mohammed Nur bin Saleh, in his welcome address, was outraged by a suggestion from Minister of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, Professor Frimpong Boateng, that Muslim leaders in the country should consider using text messages to invite worshippers to prayers instead of the traditional megaphones. Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng at a media press series in Accra on April 10, 2018, stated that if this is adopted, it will go a long way to help reduce noise pollution in our communities. However, Maulvi Mohammed Nur bin Saleh condemned the statement and said it smacks of intolerance.
Is it to say that Muslims should not call azan, no Christian church bell should be sounded? Is it therefore to say that during the political campaigning, including he himself, the political parties go around with loudspeakers and disturb our sleep and disturb our peace of mind? Is it to say that those slogans and the noise that you make in the name of seeking power is not a nuisance by his description? Is it to say the all-night church services that go on in Pentecostal churches and other churches are what he is describing as a nuisance? What actually is nuisance in this case? It's only a display of intolerance. If he cared to know the wisdom behind the azan that is called by Muslims, he would never have made such an unpalatable utterance in his capacity as an honorable minister.
Acting Upper West Regional Minister Amidu Chinia Isaku advised the congregants to eschew all forms of divisiveness and sectionalism, stating that as a people, what binds them is greater than what divides them.
No one has ever won in any conflict, and it is the vulnerable in society that are affected by these conflicts. It is therefore important that the culture of sectarianism is not allowed to divide us. As a people, we have a lot in common, and what binds us is greater than what divides us.
Reporting for JoyNews, Rafiq Salam.
Down south, health officials in the Asing South District are worried about an increase in the number of teenage pregnancy cases. Well, the children in various communities in the area between the ages of 10 and 14 are reportedly being lured with money into sexual relationship by mostly married men who go unpunished when found out. Alfred Amo is with our sister station JoyNews and now reports.
No, sir, but only penny more when you send any more. Penifano, I'm afraid papa now, or money in the casa. I've been former grooming. I don't mind young gamba, and I'm saying, I'll send Munya become an Omoka found when Yashi gamba. Abusiana, get a bushia for an omniba panicasa now. A crown is soon power and ye. Again, we see how we about when you school.
Those are school children narrating how one of their friends, a pupil in class 6, was impregnated by an elderly married man who was only reprimanded by leaders in the community. They attribute this to poverty.
Ask them and they say their mother don't have the money, and when they go, their mother said, go and do what you can do and get what you want to get. So poverty is the one that causes teenage pregnancy.
From 53 recorded cases of teenage pregnancies in 2015, the figure increased to 74 in 2016 and subsequently to 103 in 2017. Worried chiefs, parents and health officials of Asenjakai organized a stakeholders meeting to address the issue.
We realized that it kept increasing from 53, 74. It's not even going 1-1, but you read that huge. The differences are so huge. You know, usually, as we are saying, that people who want something to be provided, so from their colleague friends is part. We will not exempt that one, we will not take it out. And also the elderly ones too, who can also provide. And then the guys around, there are some guys around too who are also doing that to the children.
The assembly is now resorting to name and shame to serve as a deterrent to married and elderly men sleeping with young girls in the area.
I will make sure that this assembly, with me as a presiding member, will have a bylaw with regard to teenage pregnancy, and then we'll distribute it to the various assembly members for them to also send it to their various electoral areas, and then we'll make sure we enforce it, that whoever will fall foul to the law, we will not just pamper the person, but we'll name and shame the person. When we begin to do this, I think Ghana, Asen, and then Jakai per se will just rise up.
Alfred Amos report for JoyNews.
Well, that's it for the latest tidbits of news we have in the studio. We have more news to look at. We'll be reviewing the newspapers and also look at the various stories as we have them published on our main portal, myjoyonline.com. We'll look at the other news portals we have around, possibly. But you can always watch us. Our regular channel is on YouTube, MyJoyOnline TV. I'll be joined by Mavio Sabwaji. We now have a great deal of sports after the review of the newspapers and the online portals. Benedict also comes in with the latest. We know that Manchester United, they've qualified, I think, for the finals of the FA Cup. Is it? Is that the final? But Chelsea, of course, were in there. So don't worry at all. It will be a great fight to see who wins the FA Cup. Jose Mourinho is very optimistic. But let's see all that run up as we also look at tomorrow's pending matches for the UEFA Champions League, the semi-final stage of that competition, and all that will be happening in the world of sports. Do stay on. We will be right back, certainly.